Hello, 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 and welcome, welcome, welcome. It's me, your cheeky wench, and yes, this is a pre recorded video, and I'm doing it for two different reasons. One, they are dropping like flies over at my daughter's house with strep, and I had the kids for a couple of days because mom was sick, and now everybody's down with it. And I just want to make sure that if I start to feel crappy, at least we have something to show tonight. Reason number two, which is probably the main reason, um, is that I want to go into a little more depth on Scrivener. And I thought the best way to do that would be to pre record and go through all the different steps. I think it'll run more smoothly. I'll have timestamps, and I think it'll just be better for us all the way around. So, if you have Scrivener and you're not quite sure what to do with it, how to use it, there are like a gazillion different things that you can do with Scrivener. I choose to just do the most basic and simplest of all of the things that they offer, um, simply because that's just how my mind works. So, as you can see on the screen, this is Scrivener. And we're just going to start with a blank project. I'm going to choose a fiction novel and I'm going to create it and we're going to call it testing. Whoops. Testing Scrivener for Wednesday nights with the wrench. And we're going to put today's date on. I always date new files. Um, that just makes it easier for me to find later. So we're going to create this new file. And I'm going to do this. Okay. So now we have Scrivener up. Okay. And as you can see, there are all these fabulous little tabs to the left. And this is called your, I call it my board. So we know that we've chosen a novel format. This is the manuscript, and we don't have anything in it yet. Okay. So when these are the first few things that I do, I go into my template sheets and I choose my character sketch. Okay. First thing I do is highlight this, backspace, and hit enter. There is a reason why I do that. So, the main reason that I do this is because I want to change these presets in the template sheet. If I didn't and just kept what was originally there, then I would have to type in the character's name up here. Let's call her Betty Brown. Okay. And then I would also have to type it again down here. Do not ask me why it's set up this way. I don't know. But I learned that if I can just backspace that original preset where it said character sketch, get rid of that, then whatever I type here automatically goes down here. It just makes life a lot easier. Again, let me reiterate that there are a lot of different things that you can do in Scrivener. I'm just showing you some of my most favorite, the ones that I use every day, the ones that make my life the most convenient. So let's start with chapters. So over here, back on your board, you can see that we have the manuscript. It automatically comes up with starting with one chapter, okay? And one scene. Well, of course, your book is going to have a lot more chapters and a lot more scenes. What I like to do is go ahead and add a few starting chapter folders, these things here. So down here, you can see where it says create new folder document. Well, that's a new chapter, and I just hit it a few times. So I will label each of these accordingly. Always start with a prologue. So we have prologue, and then we have our prologue scene. This would be chapter 1. Chapter 2. Chapter 3. Now, do you have to label these chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, and on and on and on? No, you can just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, however you want to do it. It's perfectly fine. But you will notice that when I hit these arrows, there are no scenes inside of the chapters. Those you have to add. So you're going to highlight your chapter, and up here you see a green button, and it says Add New Document. Press and hold for more options. I just click Add a couple scenes. And I do this ahead of time because I have been known to start a chapter and then not add a scene, and then everything is just all in one chapter, and I have to copy and paste and add scenes, etc., etc. Now, when you go to compile this, what's really, really nice is when you go to compile this after you've written your story, it's going to automatically put scene separators in for you, okay? The 3 little asterisks. It's going to do page breaks. It's going to do scene breaks. It's going to do chapter breaks. It's all automatic, and I absolutely love that about Scrivener. Sorry, I forgot to shut off my fan. Anyway, so we have our chapters and we have scenes, and yes, you can add or delete scenes. What I want to talk about now are the notes section. You could do, a lot of people like to do a synopsis for each chapter or scene. My mind does not work that way. But what I do like to do is add notes for each chapter. So we're on chapter 1. I'm over here under notes, and I can just say something simple like start the chapter off with a bang. Okay. Then I can do notes for each individual scene. Okay. So for scene 1, which we don't number our scenes. Okay. We just don't do that. So for scene 1, my note to myself is, let's see, Greg has a time bomb. Make sure it doesn't explode. Okay. So you're wondering, okay, why is this saying untitled document? It's not going to say anything until you start writing. And that is wicked, wicked cool because you know what, if you're starting scenes with the same opening. Okay. So let's just put here, it was a dark and stormy night. Okay. So now we know this particular scene in chapter 1 starts with that sentence. Chapter 2, the rain was relentless. Okay. So we know that scene 2 of chapter 1 starts with that sentence. And then you just keep going and going and going. So it's just a visual reminder. And I've caught myself doing this a couple of times where I'm starting a new scene off almost exactly the same as a previous scene. And I love that I can just at a glance see what I've been writing. So we have notes over here, and you will see I wrote that first sentence, and then over here what my notes are. And I absolutely, there are so many things about this that I just absolutely love. I can't stand it. So there are lots of really cool things that you can do with this. So we've got chapter 2. Let's just put in a couple of scenes. Hugh was insane. We can type here. Uh, let's see. The coffee was bitter and she hated it. Okay. Of course, you're going to write a heck of a lot more than these. These are just samples. Okay. And then chapter 3, you'll come down here and you'll write something else. Snoop Dogg and Martha are a great team. Okay. So what's really neat is that, let's say, as you're writing along, you realize perhaps chapter 1 should start here, where you've written something in chapter 3. So if you want to, you can take this scene and drag it into chapter 1, and that's what it will start with. And then if you want this scene down here in chapter 3, et cetera, et cetera. So you can move things around, and I think that is really a nifty, nifty feature that Scrivener has. So let's go back to the character sheets, shall we? And you're going to notice that I made a boo-boo and had to start all over, which is not a problem. This was a test. It was my fault. When you go down to when you go down to your template sheets, you hit this, delete, hit enter. Don't type anything else, because then all of your character sheets are going to have the same name. That was my mistake. So I came back up here. Now, this is your character sheet folder. All your characters go in here. All you need to do is click on this green plus button up here, and all your characters will be right there. So we have John Doe. We can have Mary Lamb. Oops. Sometimes I just go too fast. Here we can have Mary Lamb. Here we can have Jack Beans. You get the idea. So these character sheets are really nice. You will have their age, location, role and story, goals, physical description. I like to go down here to the original template sheet and add a few other things or take some things out. What I like to add is their love language. The thing they're terrified of the most. Things of that nature. And that will save in the template, which will come up here. Okay. So now that that is saved, I can add a new character sheet, and you will see here that the love language has been added, the things they're terrified of most, etc., etc., etc. So I like that. Another thing that you can do, which is really helpful in stories where you might have, for instance, clans or families or different businesses, you can add folders in here in your character sheets. Just let me remember how to do this. We're going to add a folder, and down here, see, it's under characters, and you can add the name. So Clan Graham, okay? And all of your characters that belong in the Clan Graham family can go in here. Oops, undo, edit. That didn't work. Anyway, you get the idea. So you could just, all of your Clan Graham people can go in here. Okay. Or like if you write military romance, you have the Delta team, you have the Alpha team, you have this team. You can have folders for each of the characters that belong to those specific groups. And I think that is really phenomenal. So those are just a few of the very basic things that you can do with Scrivener. So now what I would like to do is answer some frequently asked questions. One of those is, how do you write in dark mode? You go to Scrivener, Appearances, and see where it says dark or light. I have it on light mode right now, but I can change it to dark mode. A lot of people like this because it helps on the eye strain. So let's start again with, it was a dark and stormy night. The wind howled Trees scraped against the windows, and the rain came down in sheets. Okay, so that's how you do your dark mode. And if you're like me, reading really small print is a pain in the butt. It's difficult even with readers. So let's go to zoom. You can zoom in, you can choose the size. I usually like to zoom in to about 200. That just makes me happy. So we can change the appearance and we can do a dark mode, which helps with eye strain. So those are just a few of the very basic things that you can do with Scrivener. So now what I would like to do is answer some frequently asked questions. One of those is, how do you write in dark mode? You go to Scrivener, Appearances, and see where it says dark or light. I have it on light mode right now, but I can change it to dark mode. A lot of people like this because it helps on the eye strain. So let's start again with, it was a dark and stormy night. The wind howled, trees scraped against the windows, and the rain came down in sheets. Okay, so that's how you do your dark mode. And if you're like me, reading really small print is a pain in the butt. It's difficult even with readers. So let's go to zoom. You can zoom in, you can choose the size. I usually like to zoom in to about 200. That just makes me happy. So we can change the appearance and we can do a dark mode, which helps with eye strain. Again, just so many possibilities with this wonderful program. Let's see, we can drag in documents or external files to create bookmarks. There's just so many other things that we can do. So I know characters, characters, characters. I talk about that a lot, but I want to show you something really cool. We're going to go up here and we're going to open a recent project, and let's just grab Muriel. Let that load. And we're going to go down here to the characters, because a lot of times if you write in series like I do, a lot of those previous characters, or a good number of them, or even just a few of them, are going to be in the next book, right? So we are going to highlight this, okay? And what we can do is grab that, and look at this now. We can grab and drop into the new document. How awesome is that? I just freaking love it. So a lot of times what I will do is I will write the prologue to the next book in the current work in progress. You can also drag and drop that prologue into your new project, your new book, especially if you write in series, and that's just really cool. So you can do a lot of drag and drop from one Scrivener project to another, and again, awesome. One of the things, and again, I've said this 100 times tonight, one of the really lovely things about Scrivener is that you can keep track of your word count. And it's very simple. You go to project settings, I'm sorry. You want show project targets, my bad. So this window pops up and you can type in here how many words, your target ending word count for your novel. So let's just say we want 100,000 words. Okay. We're going to click on options. We're going to show overrun. We're going to put in a deadline. This is vitally important. So let's say we want a deadline of August 15th of 2023. Okay. You want to show your target notifications, your session target. You can reset your session every day at the same time. I just start mine at midnight or 1 a.m. Count text written anywhere in the project. Automatically calculate from draft deadline. This is important. Figure out how many days a week you're going to write. Let's say you can only write on Sundays, Tuesdays, Thursday, and Friday. Okay? You choose those, you click OK. This will tell you from when the time you start your new novel, how many words a day you need to write on those writing days in order to meet that 100,000 word count, or whatever you choose. It could be 70, it could be 30 if you're writing, a novella or a short story. I think that is really, really cool. So as you type along, we're just going to add more words, adding more words. And you can see right here, see how that number keeps going up? Adding more words to test the project target feature. We already have It Was a Dark and Stormy Night. Spring is right around the corner. I love Scrivener, etc. So as you type, you can see you have 40 of the 100,000 words written, 40 of the 1190 that you need to write each day. And I use that on every single novel and every single time that I write. And I absolutely love that feature. Now, some of you are very visual people like me, and you would like just a little more inspiration in your document. So here we have the text. It was a dark and stormy night. What's really, really cool is I can add an image from my desktop to the folder. Okay? And now I just have a little bit of inspiration for this scene. You can also add pictures of actors, models, whatever, who inspire you for different characters. There's just all sorts of really neat things that you can do. And I know I keep saying that over and over and over again, but it's true. I can't help myself. Okay, so let's get out of dark mode and back to light mode. That just makes it a little bit easier when we are watching videos. So let's say you have written your entire book and you're ready to compile it and send it to your editor. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, so easy to compile it. So what you do is you come down, you go to File and come down to Compile, and then you get to choose. Do you want it in print, PDF, Microsoft? 100% of the time, in order to send this to your editor, you're going to need it in Microsoft Word document. So you choose that. And then over here, you can pick and choose what portions go into that final compile. Now, a lot of times I will add, say, 10 scene documents to my novel, but I only use 8. So you can uncheck those, and those will not go into the compiled document. And we want it in manuscript format. I never mess with this. I just don't. You hit compile, and you want it to go to your desktop. And this is our file name, which was testing Scrivener. And we export it. And you can see it's right there. Or it's gone there. Hang on just a second, and we will get it. Okay, so I had it saved to my desktop and I'm able to just open it. I know you can't see that yet. So let's stop sharing this and share the new one. Okay. So how it compiles is like this. This went into Pages because I do not have Word on my laptop. I have Word on my Big Mac, and that's usually what I compile to. But you will see it will have all this stuff up here, and you can just erase it. You don't have to use that. I never do. Um, and it's just here, right? Chapter 2. All these chapters are here. And it's got the automatic scene breaks. It will have the automatic page breaks, all of that. And it's very, very nifty. We're going to delete that. And then we're going to come back here. So again, these are just the very, very basic steps of writing a novel in Scrivener. There are tons, and I mean tons of YouTube tutorials out there on all the different things that Scrivener does. My mind does not work that way. I don't need to have tags and color coding systems and all of that. I just want to write the book and I want to do it in the, for me, the simplest manner possible. I don't like getting bogged down with all the bells and the whistles and everything, but that's just me. A lot of people need all those bells and whistles, and that's fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's awesome. If that's how your brain works, God bless you. I think that's amazing. So that is going to wrap up what we're going to do tonight regarding Scrivener. And I hope these basic tips and tricks are helpful just to get you started with writing in Scrivener. There are, like I said, tons more stuff you can do with Scrivener. I'm going to be having a very special guest on in a few weeks to talk about and to demonstrate all the other things that you can do, the things that I don't do, but I think are really awesome for people who need just all the bells and whistles. And she's really fabulous, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. So, with that said, we will be doing our writing critiques next Wednesday night. It is delayed by a week just due to everybody's schedule was just insane these last couple of weeks. Spring breaks, illnesses, vacations, just all sorts of different things. So we will be doing our writing challenge, the critiquing, next Wednesday night, and that will be, I believe, round 4. And I will be posting a link to the round 5 prompts. And just thank you all for being here. Thank you for being patient. I hope you enjoyed it, this pre-recorded video. If you do, please leave me a comment in the comment section. I know live is a lot more fun, but it can be distracting. And there's just too much to talk about with Scrivener. And I think this was just a better way to do it. I will be in the comments section or the chat section with y'all tonight, chatting with you, answering any side questions that you might have. And I'm just really glad that you could join me tonight. I hope everybody has an awesome week. And I pray to God I don't come down with strep. And I will see you all on Friday night. Thanks. Bye bye.